Welcome to the IELTS Step-by-Step Mastering All Skills course. This course is the result of very popular demand to have a combination of all the 4 top-rated courses from the IELTS Step-by-Step Mastering Suite. That's Mastering Reading, Mastering Writing, Mastering Listening, and Mastering Speaking. Which means that on this course, this single course, you'll have access to every one of some of the best and most top-rated IELTS content online to help you to get that 7+ on the IELTS exam for both academic and general training IELTS. Now, if you use this course in conjunction with the IELTS Step-by-Step Mastering Vocabulary and Grammar course, and by the way, the link to that for a discount is available in the resources section of this video, you will have all the tools, skills, and knowledge at your fingertips to tackle the exam with ease. But you don't need to buy that extra course to get ready for the IELTS. You can just use this course and you will get a lot of information. By the end of this course, you will be absolutely amazed at how much easier the real exam is, and your dreams of studying at a great university or moving to another country to get your ideal job will be much more likely to come true. Now, I realize that some of you have left it very late to start preparing for the IELTS exam. I know this because some of my past students on my other courses have only started preparing about 3 weeks before the real exam, which is a very short period of time, to be honest. So for people like you, there is a fast track version of this course. It's the same course, but you just have to follow certain symbols. It's not ideal, but you don't have time to do all parts of this course. So you're going to be looking for this particular symbol here, and I'm going to show you here. That symbol shows that you are on the very fastest track of this course. Now, if this lecture has this symbol, if one of the lectures has this symbol, that is the one that you absolutely have to do. However, if you've got about 5 weeks before your exam, then you're going to be looking for lectures that have this symbol and this symbol. Okay? If you have about 7 weeks left, you're going to be looking for these 3 symbols. But if you have plenty of time before the exam, then I encourage you to do every single lecture that you see in the exam, in this course, as well as, if you've signed up to it, as well as the vocabulary and grammar preparation for the IELTS. Working for about 1 hour each day should be enough for you to do that if you follow those symbols. And later on, I'm going to show you the course breakdown, and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about in terms of those symbols. And remember, if you do find that you finish the fast track course faster than expected, then I strongly encourage you to do the other parts of the course as well, because everything there will help you immensely. So now let's have a look at the course layout and the way Udemy works so you have a better idea of what I'm talking about. Okay, now let's have a look at the way the course looks on the Udemy platform itself. So if you don't know how Udemy works, this is your first time using Udemy, this will be useful for you to just prick up your ears and listen carefully. So this is the way it looks on a PC or a Macintosh. So on the right hand side you've got the units, and on the left hand side you'll have the videos, or in some cases you'll have, for example, just a lecture. So let's give an example there. Let's try and find one that isn't. So there's something about phrases, phrases, new idioms, collocations, and you'll see that there. And there's lots of links that will take you to different websites, sometimes exercises. Now this is something very important to remember. If you're on a desktop, one of the things that Udemy does is, as if you click on this link, the links come up in blue like this. If you click on this link, it will take you away from this tab to a new website. That can be very frustrating for some people who want to keep the website open, keep the Udemy the course open, and just open the exercise or whatever it is in a new page. So if you don't know how to do this, this is using your right mouse button. So the right mouse button on the right, it'll give you an option, and then it'll say open link in the new tab. And you can open that up, and here you have the exercise for this one, which is set up on my through my website over here. Okay, and it's useful idioms for Yuri's speaking exam. All right, so the same thing applies to all of these links. If you don't want to lose your place on the Udemy platform, then right click, once again, right click and open in new tab. Right click is 2 fingers if you're on a Macintosh. Now this does not apply for those of you who are using the app, Udemy app. It'll open up in a separate browser, so it shouldn't be a problem on a phone or on an iPad or anything like this. This is just for desktop users. Okay, so the course videos, as you've seen them, I'm sure they look like this. They've got a little icon video, and then if it's a lecture, it's got a square little piece of paper like this. Please note that there are resources in some of these lectures you can find on the right hand side. Okay, now the course layout goes from relatively easiest stuff to obviously a lot more difficult by the time you get to the bottom. The finishing touches is just 4 more lectures that are useful if you are doing the reading or the listening exam, or certainly you will be because you're doing the IELTS exam, but this is for reading and listening only. But yeah, the final major section is section 13, which has got all of this here. Okay, now please note that there are some things that are related only or useful only to those who are doing the general training exam, and I'm going to show you on the course map what those look like. They're highlighted in yellow so that if you're doing just the academic, or if you're doing the academic, don't waste time doing the general training stuff. Okay, but I'll show you that in a second on the course map. I just want to point out one more thing here, that we have an IELTS step-by-step community. So let's right click that, open a new tab, and it's on Facebook. You are encouraged to join this community because, especially for the speaking, because it's a chance for you to interact with other people who are in the similar position to you. They might not necessarily be from the IELTS step-by-step mastering program. They might be from my YouTube channel. So it's a very large number of members, 2.8 thousand, so 2,800 members in this community, and we help each other. Look, for example, Abdul Kader has asked, what can I do to improve my spelling? And there's some people who've given some ideas there, including myself. Okay, and anyone who wants to do speaking practice, they're welcome to do this here. And there's a link, in fact, let's open that in a new tab just to be safe. There's a link over here for students who are interested in doing the speaking practice. You put your name over here and you will be able to practice speaking with them. Okay, now let's go back to the course itself. And yes, as I said, it gets a little bit progressively more difficult, but there's one thing that, as I said before, we need to remember is that some of you are going to be trying to get through this course a lot quicker. You can see it's quite a lot here. There's a huge amount of information here, and some of you have only got, say, for example, only 1 month before the course and before the test, and you don't have time to do everything in the course. So let's have a look at what the course map looks like, because the course map will give you lots of information. So over here you can see that the course map is divided into the sections. So section 1 is just the introduction with the general information about the exam and the FAQs, typical FAQs, and then it goes into more specific things like reading and listening, different colors. So the reading, anything related to reading is in a reddish color, anything related to listening is in a green color, speaking is in a pink color, and writing in purple. And you'll see that some of them are darker than others. The darker ones are those logos there. So the dark ones are the ones that you need to focus your time on, even if you have got very limited time before the exam. These are the feedback videos that give you reasons for the answers. And of course, if you don't have time to do the academic test, at the very least, you need to listen to the feedback video to find out why the answers what they are or what they are. And the lighter ones are the ones that you can, I would not say skip, but maybe you can go quite quickly through them if you need to. Okay, and then I spoke about anything that's for general training only. This is in this light yellow color. So anything for general training is light yellow. If you are doing general training, then obviously you're going to avoid the academic tests. So look out for anything that says academic. That's only for academic people. But because most of my students on this course are academic students, this is not a different color for them. I want them to be able to see easily where they're going. So if you're general training, look out for this. Do not do the academic test. You are supposed to be only doing the yellowish color for the reading. So remember, the listening for general and academic is exactly the same. The speaking for general and academic is exactly the same. The writing is slightly different. The task 1 is a letter if you are doing your general training, but the task 2 is exactly the same for academic and general training. So the only real thing you need to watch out for is reading and task 1 of the writing. So if you go right to the bottom of this, you will see that there's a lot of yellow, and that's all for those of you who are doing the general training, all the different types of letter writing and practice related to that. Okay, so generally that's it. If you have any questions, you of course can write to me on Udemy, but usually what happens is that I'm more active on the ielts step-by-step community page on Facebook, which means that if you ask a question there, you're more likely to get an answer, not only from me, but from somebody who's done the test before. There's a lot of students who have actually finished the IELTS exam and still like to be part of the IELTS step-by-step community because they like helping people, and that's very nice and very kind of them. So you'll often find that you get an answer from another student, not only from me. So the Facebook page is a way to get around that. Okay, so just to recap then, there's 13 sections plus this bonus 14 sections, 14th section here with those reading and listening bits. If you're going to, well, I encourage you always to do the tasks and do the exercises. Please remember to right click when you do that. And oh yes, one other thing I just wanted to speak about. Some people have said, oh, there's a lot of writing here compared to the other bits. Well, that's not really true. There's a lot of reading as well. Reading, writing, listening, maybe not as much. But the reason why is because there's not enough writing done by most students at school, normal school. Not enough writing done in general in this modern world. We do a lot of maybe texting on our phone, but we don't do enough writing. And for the most part, this is the weakest skill. So there's a lot more for writing than of the other skills. And that's because I need you to get to the level that you need to get a 7 or a 7.5 or 8 and above in your writing. So there is a lot more writing than usual, but I encourage you to do it because it is so essential, especially if you're doing the academic IELTS, because remember, the IELTS is the first step. Once you've got the IELTS, you're going into university, and what are they going to ask you to do? Write. So there's a lot of writing. Do it if you have time. All right, and oh yes, so sorry, one more thing. So here you can see those logos I was talking about. So the darker the green, for example, listening, there's the star. That is the ones that those of you who have only got a short period of time, you're only looking at the dark green. If you've got enough time, maybe say 5 weeks to go, then look at the 2 darker greens. So that's the star or the filled in circle. If you've got, say, 7 weeks, then look at the star, the filled in circle, and the double circle. And if you've got plenty of time, then do all 3. So include the open circle. Okay, those of you who think that they can just ignore the open circle, and say, oh, well, the tutor doesn't feel that it is important. That's not true. I feel it's important. It's simply that people who have got limited time do not have time to look at this tips and tricks video because they just need to get things done quicker. So this does not mean it's less important. It simply means that certain people don't have enough time to do it. Okay, that is the end of this introduction video. So get started. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the course and on the community Facebook page. Thank you.